example, and you have a different canon from the Catholics, it's because the Protestants took the Catholic canon and they threw out the books they didn't like. But they started with the Catholic canon, right, that was defined and promulgated by the church, and they just removed a couple. But they wouldn't have had any canon to work with if the church had not promulgated the canon. The canon is a product of Catholic tradition. So the canon of the Bible that Catholics use is the one that we've had for 2,000 years and been handed down by sacred tradition. Now, when you talk about versions, there is no normative translation of the biblical text that all Catholics have to use. The Vulgate translation, which was produced by St. Jerome in the 4th century, is, in a very broad sense, authoritative. It's the only translation the church at the level of a council has ever said, this translation's okay, right? An official document from the Vatican saying, yes, we could use this translation, Vulgate. But you're not required to use the Vulgate, and translations change over time because language changes over time. And every once in a while, the science of lower textual criticism will produce better documentation of the Old New Testament texts, and those things can be incorporated into scholarship. But basically, the list of canonical books is the list of canonical books. And other Christian traditions do have different canons for a variety of reasons. In the Protestant tradition, they basically started with the Catholic canon and then removed 7 books they didn't like. In some of the Eastern churches, they use a slightly different canon that is really reflective of, in antiquity, there were some disputes over which books belonged in the Bible, and you typically found that in some regions of the Catholic world, there were books in circulation that might be more popular than some other region. And in some of those places that broke out of unity with the Catholic Church, they've held in that sort of corner of the world, in a kind of a parochial canon, if you will. They've held on to some texts that weren't maybe as widely distributed across the Christian world, but were popular in that one area, and they've sort of hung on to this. A good example would be the Ethiopian church keeps the Book of Enoch in its canon. The rest of the Christian world doesn't, But that was something peculiar to that region to treat it that way. Everybody's got Enoch, they've read it, but the Ethiopians really liked it, so they kept it in their canon.
Scotty, thanks so much for checking us out on YouTube this afternoon.